a job, that's all. One way of earning a living. Somewhere to go in the morning. Something to say that I do, if I'm asked.
As early as 1999, the way was paved in Alberta to shift certain hospital services to private clinics and nursing homes. Despite great public opposition, a bill was passed to that effect at the beginning of May 2000. Along with its neglect of the water supply, Ontario wasn't far behind in dismantling its version of the health system. At the same time, it was cutting the budgets of its art agencies and pushing them towards seeking, but rarely finding, private sector partnerships. Individual, especially older artists, no longer had recourse to public support. The one potential exception was the National Institute for the Arts, formed in the same year as Bill 11 was passed in Alberta. A chain of former hospitals from coast to coast, emptied during the severe economies that started in 1997, provided the sites for this unique project, and bureaucrats from downsized government agencies formed its staff. The opening of the first branch, the Institute Hamilton, located in the former Hamilton General Hospital, and inaugurated just this spring by Sheila Copps, was greeted with great excitement. Other branches will soon follow across Canada.
And just what is the Institute?
A well-known journalist inquires. Here's part of her on-site research.
End of introduction.
Part 1. A cultural triumph.
Cafeteria sounds can be heard. Jeremy Watts, a well-known painter, is talking to the journalist. Hannah Bergson, a cellist, joins them at their table. Jeremy is rumored to have an interest in her.
What I said to that other reporter was this. It isn't that I need the presence of others, I said. My work is a solitary passion, I said. Good words, eh? Solitary passion.
Jeremy grinned.
It's that the Institute offers me space and time, space in which to work and time in which to use the space. That's what I said, and it's true enough. See this floor plan? Check the third floor corner suite. That's my studio, right above the director's office.
Oh, he's not a very interesting man. He used to run one of the festivals, but then directors do tend to come and go.
There is the temptation to dangle scary pictures down in front of his window, but I don't. I just let it be known that I can't.
Back in the cafeteria, the conversation between Hannah, Jeremy, and the journalist continues.
Well, this is the first branch, and there's still a fair amount of confusion, but I don't regret moving in. The other residents are interesting. The staff's a bit weird, but what else is new? The food? Well, not that great actually, but maybe not so important, right? We have our individual cooktops in any case if we get desperate. Work and love, Freud said, work and love. That's what's important.
Anyway, that's the story so far. Who did you say you write for?
Part 2, the staff speaks.
We, who run the Institute,
are here to tell you who we are.
Let us tell you who we are.
This is who we are.
My name is Judy Schwartz, and I'm the director of the gallery here in Hart House, and I'd like you to welcome Vera Frenkel.
There's a special way of talking.
I've been learning on this project, and a lot of my work has to do with wanting to learn new things, and I've certainly learned a great deal in this particular journey.
It's contagious. It's outrageous.
Without these people, nothing can be realized. An idea is easy to achieve, a realization not so easy.
It's not pretty. It's not blunt, and it's not gritty. But so highfalutin and...
Could I have a round of applause for these people? They're wonderful. The notion of the mad artist in the attic who works in isolation has been replaced by the mad artist in the basement who works with a large crowd of young, attractive people. Thank you very much.
Keep speaking and writing in code, dear, and you'll conquer the corporate maze. Here, try a little yourself. All things considered, at the end of the day, It's not so difficult.
Tendencies judged, my dear. Staff members scrutinized. Rulings revised again. Routines all re-routinized. The meeting is called, my love.
Now you're in trouble.
Minutes approved.
You'll have to decide something.
There's no other option. A motion is moved. Weird language will save you. Embrace the roundabout word. The elegant coinage, the indirect speech, perfumed and absurd, perfumed and absurd. Weird language will save you. Just master the roundabout phrase. Keep speaking and writing in code, dear, and you'll conquer the corporate maze.
Make a decision, then duck.
End of part 2.
Part 3. The new guest arrives.
Outdoors, overlooking the garden and the driveway, Nanny, the new assistant to the director, is standing at the main entrance with Lily, the new librarian, waiting to receive a distinguished guest.
So we're expecting the famous novelist.
Murmurs Nanny, almost in a whisper.
She must be a good deal older than the others.
Lily nods. She's read the file.
Her big success was in the late 30s, wasn't it?
Nanny doesn't reply. She's staring at the sleek black car humming quietly around the last curve of the driveway. The car pulls up in the driveway. A black-stockinged knee swings out and a well-shod foot emerges tentatively towards the ground.
As Lily and Nanny watch, holding their welcome packages, smiles at the ready, a second foot descends to join the first.
And a rather nice foot it is, too.
We see a woman of a certain age lean swiftly out of the smart black car and straighten up in a single smooth motion.
Tall, attractive in a calm way that suggests experience. Eyes behind chic sunglasses, tendrils of hair escaping under a large brimmed hat. Cornelia Lumsden turns to look at the building.
We hear jazz in the distance. It's coming from a window somewhere on the 3rd floor.
Jeremy always positions his easel at right angles to his studio window, so he can see his canvas and the outside world at the same time. He turns up the stereo and pauses, paintbrush in hand, to consider with interest the scene below. Orders traveled quickly through the 1st and 2nd floors.
By the time the novelist was ensconced in her 5th floor suite, a tray of glasses, whiskey and water had materialized.
No one remembers who poured, but it was reported on good authority the next day that she sipped, sighed, and murmured.
So this is the Institute. But what does one do for love?
Some weeks later. Elsewhere in the building, Maggie the head nurse and Bill the director are chatting.
What about that new resident, the Lumsden woman?
What about her?
Well, how's she fitting in?
Well, before we get to that, I think you ought to know that she can't possibly be the real Lumsden. The real one disappeared before World War II, somewhere in Europe.
Well, there have been sightings since then, I hear.
Oh, Elvis, Jack the Ripper, and Garbo, too. But whoever she is, she's never once been in the library since she arrived, and it's been weeks. And no one's seen anything she's written before or since. Plus, we've already got the Lumsden on the 4th floor. The painter uses the name so her family won't track her down. We can't have 2 Lumsdens, neither one of them genuine.
Who did her evaluation as a potential resident?
Good point.
I suppose I'll have to look into this. Who did you say drove her up? I don't suppose anyone got the license plate number.
And so that's how it happened that Cornelia Lumsden, or the woman who claimed to be, author of the controversial 1937 novel The Alleged Grace of Fat People, on her way to the auditorium on a beautiful June morning to hear a visiting lecturer speak on how to dress for an exhibition, found herself cornered in the residence lounge of the Institute Hamilton, answering unexpected questions.
This did not please her.
Why should she report on her work to this fading functionary, she thought, consulting her watch. How dare he probe into her private life? She looked closely at Bill Everell as he spoke. He dyes his hair, she mused.
But she answered politely enough.
She was working on a libretto based on Kafka's The Trial. and was talking to composers.
She was also working on a long memoir in which all the questions he was asking her would be answered in full.
Yes, she'd initially taken the name Cornelia Lumsden out of admiration for the famous novelist, later adopting it legally.
She liked the idea that all the Lumsden books, hers and her namesake's, would stand beside each other in Canada's libraries.
Bill Everill's office, late evening.
It's no use, Maggie. That woman and her dog are trouble. The dog will have to go in any case.
He comforted himself with this thought.
Don't blame yourself, Bill. You knew when you took this position that working with artists wouldn't be easy. But think of all the wonderful work going on downstairs in the studios and rehearsal rooms.
Yes, of course. Maggie.
Bill?
You're a good listener, Maggie. I just want to know that you're more than a nurse to me. You really are. How about you pour us a drink?
End of part 3.
Will Maggie and Bill deepen their bond?
Will the retraining center succeed in matching former cultural officers and their new tasks?
Who is Cornelia's anonymous friend in the big black car?
Which Lumsden will Jeremy close in on, the painter or the writer? What about his rumored relation with Hannah?
Will Parliament approve the next stage of the Institute with an election coming?
Will pets be allowed?
Some of these questions may be answered on Frenkel's pages of the Arts Today website, or maybe not. But visit the site anyway for a backstage glimpse into the making of this program and clues as to what might happen.
You'd know when a person could see and appreciate you.
But where is the person prepared to say yes? The colleague who dares to say no. Instead of the maybes, howevers, and ifs. The one who can say, I don't know.
Artist in Residence was created by Vera Frenkel. It was one of a group of works under the title The Institute, or What We Do for Love, that Vera Frenkel is preparing for both video and the web, hosted by the Stadium Network for the Arts. Some of the initial programming was done during a residency at the Banff Centre. Sound recording and web design for Artists in Residence were by John McCarthy, and the program was produced for the Arts Today by Sasha Hastings.
Life in a minor key, that's what is waiting for me.